Good morning, Algebra 2. I hope you are doing well. Welcome to the third week of digital school, and we are going to continue to get ready for a test this week. A couple of you asked some good questions, guys. When I mentioned like there's a certain amount of time, I'm kind of thinking of offering different times that you kind of have to work on the test. It's not just going to be posted and you work on it whenever you want to. And so I already am thinking that there's sort of going to be a few different sessions. So if you would please, and I know some of you have my class in the afternoon, that doesn't matter. I would be able to figure it out and work it out that I could get you the test when needed. But if there was going to be an Algebra 2 test on this trigonometry stuff, I am thinking of offering a few different time slots that you could sign up for. And doesn't matter how many people are in each time slot. It's not like a limited number. But whatever time slot you would sign up for, I would send an email at the beginning of that time. As soon as you were done, you would email it back to me. At the end of that time, I would have to receive it from you. If I did not receive it from you in that time, I would have to we would have to figure out what to do. But it's going to be more than enough time, guys. It's not going to be a short amount of time that you have to rush through everything. But that way, I'm on Hangouts waiting to talk to you if you have questions. I know that you're working on my test and you should be finishing up in a certain amount of time so I can be checking in on you a little bit and seeing how things are going. So if I kind of am thinking through a few different sessions and just from when people do stuff and when people submit stuff to me, I'm kind of thinking of offering 3 different sessions. One would be like a morning session, sometime before noon. I mean, not too early. The second one would be like an afternoon during school time test. So sometime probably between it might go a little bit over, maybe 2 to 4 or something like that. And then one would be a little bit later, maybe 5 to 7 or something like that. So if I offered 3 different sessions, a morning session, an afternoon session, and an early evening session, would you please, as your point for the day, although I would like you to continue watching because there's some important parts of this video later, if those were the 3 offered times for when you could take my Algebra 2 test, and still guys, I'm waiting a couple days because I want to do a few of these reviews and make sure we're doing okay. Our test is not tomorrow, okay? Our test is not tomorrow, Tuesday. Our test is probably not Wednesday. It's probably going to be either Thursday or Friday. I'm still trying to figure out a few things. But whatever day our test is, if you had to sign up for a morning session, an afternoon session, or an early evening session, which one of those 3 would you prefer to take your test during? Okay, so that's your point for the day, to email me and say, this is when I would like to take the test when it is testing day. So a few things I want to review with you, just because as I've been going through the homework and looking through things, people are frantically doing their homework even though they don't have to. And so the first one I'm going to review is the 30, 60, 90 and 45, 45, 90 shortcuts when we have those special right triangles. So I have them both drawn here, but I am going to kind of do them one at a time, okay? If we were in class, I would call in 4 people in a row and say, tell me what your favorite number is. And whatever favorite number theirs is, I would write on the short side, okay? And guys, I'm going to do something right here that I don't think I did before, but across from our 30-degree angle should be our shortest side. So if 30 degrees is here, across from it, I'm going to write a 1 there because 1 is the shortest, okay? Then I'm going to write a 2 across the bottom here because 2 is the second or the middle length, and the hypotenuse should always be the longest side. There was some of you the other day when you were doing this, you just wrote numbers wherever you wanted, and you wrote the longest side for the shortest value. You weren't even thinking, okay? So I need you to take a little bit more time, and I know when I put the other paper up here that's a review of what the homework's sort of going to look like, it's going to look kind of crazy, but it's going to make sense, okay? The shortest side is always the simplest side. Now, once in a while, the ACTs or the worksheet maker might give us a kind of tricky one. But the shortest side should be just plain old X. The very simple number X, nothing else on it, nothing else attached to it. You are going to use that exact same number a second time on the one that is across from 60, okay? I'm lying right now for just a second, but the first thing, these 2, If there's a number on this side, it should have the exact same number on this side. So if there's a 7 here, this answer over here should have a 7. Plain and simple. If there's a 7, this should be 7. Now, granted, on this medium leg, there is something that would come after that 7. But I'm telling you, if there's a 7 here, there's a 7 here. If there's a 10 here, there's a 10 here. If there's an 8 here, there's an 8 here. If there's a 34 here, there's a 34 here. These two numbers should match up. There is no reason these two numbers should be the same. Shouldn't be the same, excuse me, that kind of came out wrong. The one number that changes up is the one that is the hypotenuse, across from the right angle, the longest side. I've got to double this. So x would get doubled, multiply it by 2. And that's what we get there. So these two will have the same number. Please make sure, though, that the one that has the radical 3 is across from 60. There's a lot of you, when you turn in your homework, you had that totally flipped around. Okay, so I'm giving more homework like this tonight to hopefully get you to get that squared away and straightened out. That is the answer for 30, 60, 90s. At the bottom here, I have 45, 45, 90s. Guys, if these are 45s, these are both 45s. 45 gets written twice. The two that are touching the right angle have to be the same. Again, some of you did that last week and you didn't have it. The two that are touching the right angle must be the same. And here's the thing. You know how I fibbed for just a minute because I said if there's an X here, there's an X here? On the 45, 45, 90 triangle, all three have the same number. All three have the same number. So if this is a 4, this is a 4, this has a 4. Just wait a minute. If this is a 13, this is a 13, this has a 13. If this has a 28, this is 28, and this is 28. The one other part of it is that the hypotenuse is the one that has the extra on it. Now, guys, because it was crazy and all over the place, and when you look at this homework, this is honestly how some of your homework looked to me, and then I had to try to search around. So what you're going to have to do for the homework tonight, it's okay if you draw a picture, but let's say this is number 1, and I know I didn't put number 1 up there yet. On your homework, you can draw a picture off to the side, but do you see how for number 1 right here, it has an X and a Y in it? Your homework is going to be very orderly tonight. Okay? If number 1 has an X and a Y in it, even if you draw a picture, the very first thing I should see listed right here on number 1 is X and Y. Okay? Number 2, guys, I know I squeezed a lot on here and I'll hold them up slowly. Number 2 has what 2 letters in it? Oh, an A and a B. So in alphabetical order on number 2, you're going to write A and B. This is number 3 over here. What does number 3 have on it? An N and an M. So number 3, you're going to write M and N. If I do not see it in this way, you will not get full credit. Okay? Please make sure you're nice and orderly when you do this. Now, guys, think about this again. These, the ones, I did them in this order and they show up this way on the homework. 30, 60, 90. 30, 60, 90. Short, medium, long. These two both have X. This one you have to double it. So would you please look at this? Did I give you the short side? All right, since I gave you the short side, 7 would be listed twice. Once here, once here. Doubled to get X. So X is going to be 14. So I'm going to put that on my list right there. But since this is the short side, this Y would have a 7, but not only the 7 with the square root of 3. I'll show you my answers in just a minute, okay? Look at number 2. This is the medium side. It already has the radical of the 3 on it. So what number do you see in front of there? Thank you, 4. That means 4 goes on both those sides. There's a 4 here. There's going to be a 4 here. That means A is very simply only 4. Now we have to take that 4 and double it to get B. And so, guys, that's all I have to do for my answers. All right? That's all I have to do for my answers. So, 4. For problem number 4, it's down here. Whoops, sorry. And again, they kind of overlapped a little bit. For 4, what 2 letters do you see in it? So you would write A and B in that order. Whoops. For number 5, what 2 letters do you see? Good. You would write X and Y. So this is a 45, 45. If I see a 3, I'm going to write 3 times. So A and B are both going to have 3. What one is the hypotenuse? So B is the one where you tack the radical 2 on it. Look at number 5. Oh, who cares that it's a big number? Is 45 on the hypotenuse? Nope. So I have 45 twice. And I'm going to have to add the hypotenuse. Which one's the hypotenuse? So y has the radical 2 on it. Okay? And guys, that's almost how quick your homework should go. Now, there are two other problems. They might be attached to the actual other worksheet. They might be a separate PDF file. You guys are making, when you do this, way too much work. Please remember, if I just had a problem that had you guys solve for y, none of you would have an issue looking at this and saying, oh, 37 adjacent hypotenuse, and knowing what y would equal. If I had this going like this, none of you would really have an issue knowing that, oh, 37 is across, tangent equals x over 16.4. But somehow, when my picture just has all of them unknown, when the picture shows up like this, you guys just kind of freak out and don't know what's going on. So once again, because I did this, I have x, y, and z on your answer key. This would be probably number 7. I need to see work, of course, but do you guys see how this has x, y, and z on it? In that order, then, I should write x, y, and z. And if I don't see it in that nice, clear order, guys, z is actually pretty easy because there's 3 angles of a triangle. So I should see on your paper the work of 180 minus 90 minus, what is that, a 37? That means z, my angle is 53 degrees. Now, some of you were not very careful because you just wrote z on whatever, you wrote 53 on whatever you wanted to. And then the rest of your information was wrong because you put what was supposed to be an angle on a leg. Okay? So just be careful. So we know that's 53, but that's not too big of a deal. I'm going to cover this up again. I am going to write this one on our paper. How would you solve this one for x? X is across from 37 and 16.4 is adjacent. So that means we're going to use tangent. Tangent of 37 would equal x over 16.4. Tangent of 37 would equal x over 16.4. Since your unknown is in the numerator, you would multiply these to solve it. So if we do 16.4 times the tangent of 37, my calculator is telling me 12.35. So that 35 would make me round up to a 4. So x is going to equal 12.4. So again, I need to see this work. You can draw it right there, but right next to number 7 is my list of x, y, z, and x we figured out was 12.4. Now, again, if I move this around a little bit, and I would have this, next to 37 is 16.5, and now we're trying to find the hypotenuse. So that means I would be finding the cosine. Adjacent is 16.4, but the hypotenuse is y. When my unknown is in the denominator, I do that little swap-a-roo. Please be careful on this. A few of you were doing this and you had this written down and then you did not have a correct answer written down. So 16.4 divided by the cosine of 37 should equal 20.53. And since it's 20.53, that 3 would leave it as a 20.5. So again, notice all my work is done, but right there you can see all of my answers nice and clear. All right? So again, we're getting ready for a test in a few days, and some of those questions are going to be on there. So please make sure you're working through the homework and looking through and write your answer in a nice, orderly form. Thank you. I hope you have a great day. I miss you guys.